Hey there, podcast lovers. Buckle up for a thrilling ride on the Yes Users podcast. Today, we are joined by a very charismatic personality, Mr. Atul Vaya, a man who wears many hats and wears them well. Atul is a rockstar CEO at consultcur.com, where he has been delivering marketing magic to help luxury wellness retreats hit their peak occupancy. So grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's dive into this adventure with Atul. So, Atul, welcome to Yes Users podcast.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you for inviting me here.
No, it's completely our pleasure. So, I understand that you have had a really colorful and interesting life, right? So, for our listeners who are not acquainted with you, please give them a brief rundown of your life. So,
Avinash, where do I start from? Colorful, like the yellow shirt I'm wearing, as colorful as that? Or so, yes, to all the listeners, greetings from Atul and colorful life. I could make it colorful because it was blank. काफी लोगों की लाइफ मुझे लगता है कि ऑलरेडी बहुत पेंटेड होती है विद एजुकेशंस एंड डिग्रीज एंड सो मेनी इयर्स गो इनटू दैट माइन वाज जस्ट एजुकेशन एंडेड एट 12. My 12th standard was my high school, half of which I studied in my native hometown in Gujarat called Jam Kambalia, which is near Dwarka, or very close to the Ambani's, Reliance. That's easier to locate for people.
Jamnagar.
जामनगर, जहाँ पर अभी प्री वेडिंग जो सारा हुआ था, that's not exactly Jamnagar, that's just 30 kilometers from my town.
Oh, okay.
It's between Jamnagar and my town.
Okay, interesting.
There I studied until my 7th standard, and dad was in Dubai running a jewelry business, and he came a long way, started very small, and then established a good business, and he says, now I'm okay, I can afford you, come over here and study here. You'll be able to speak English if you come and study here. I did not know a word of English that time. So good, I'm able to speak to you with that much English, whatever I learned there. I went to Dubai. They put me in, after studying 7th class, they put me down to 4th because I couldn't speak English. So I was losing 4 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, charo repeat karne the. So this is not happening. They said, okay, perform for 2 months and show us what you can do, and we'll try to promote you a little bit. So perform किया, अच्छा लगा उनको, और तब तक वो स्टूडेंट्स जो सिर्फ उनके साथ दोस्ती हो गई थी, और 5th वाले के साथ दोस्ती हो गई थी. 2 months में I started speaking some broken English and started understand. The biggest problem was understanding the cursive handwriting that Shamla ma'am was writing on the board. I couldn't pick a single word of it. So I used to ask a guy next to me कि क्या है ये, decipher करो ये मुझे, decode करो इसको. So that way, picked up word by word and, started speaking some English. Principal called me after a couple of months and he says, okay, you are performing well. I think we see potential in you and we are okay to promote you in either 5th or 6th standard. Where do you want to go? 5th standard में दोस्त बन गए थे. I said, 6th को छोड़ो, 5th में जाते हैं, मजा आएगा. So I lost 1 year because of that choice and started from 5, 6, 7. So repeated 3 years. So now people who were of my age, they were already, through colleges by then. And I was just graduating from high school. So my age group and my cousins and, in Gujarati, typical, Lala companies, we have jewelry business. तो डैड बोलते हैं कि सब पढ़ाई वढ़ाई छोड़ो, बिजनेस में आ जाओ. तो मेरे कजिन्स जो मेरी एज के थे वो सब बिजनेस में लग गए थे बाय दैट टाइम. And I was still carrying my school bag and water bottle and tiffin box and going to school. So that क्या कर रहा है भाई, अभी तक टिफिन लेके कब तक जाएगा ये, कब तक पढ़ेगा, कितना पढ़ेगा, पढ़ के फिर यही करना है, यहाँ पर आ जा, यहाँ पर फिर सीखते रहना साइड में जो सीखना है वो. ऐसे चलो ये भी ठीक है. So joined dad's business for a while, worked for a year and a half, and then I moved to India I said I want to take a break, I want to learn what's happening in India. So came to India, I started learning photography. तो फार्म था हमारा वहाँ पर, फार्म में जाता था कैमरा लेके, बटरफ्लाइज, फ्लावर्स, सारे ब्लर आते थे, सारे ओवर एक्सपोज या अंडर एक्सपोज, कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं आता था, बट ट्राई कर रहा था. तभी फिल्म्स थे, एनालॉग कैमरास, डिजिटल कैमरास वर नॉट देयर. सो फिल्म से फोटो शूट करना. फिर दिस स्टोरी विल circle back to where I'm sitting right now. from that time, it'll circle back right here.
I hope so.
Yeah. I can continue in parts, but if you want, I can tell you now. But
No, please tell us now. Please.
yeah, so started photography. Then I used to go to Rajkot. I think you told me you were from Rajkot. Yes, in your
Yeah.
early years.
Yeah. The first
Yeah.
5 years of my life I've spent in Rajkot.
Okay. So I used to go to Rajkot to develop those films. You know, when I had 5, 6 or 10 films, then I used to go to Rajkot to develop them. There was no studio in my town. वहाँ पर जाके फोटोग्राफी सीखते सीखते एक दोस्त के साथ फोटोग्राफर जो स्टूडियो वाला था जो ही स्टार्टेड टीचिंग मी के आई रिक्वेस्टेड के प्लीज सिखा दो थोड़ा मुझे कैसे फोटोज लेने हैं व्हाट आर माय मिस्टेक्स so that's how the whole learning process has been for me along the life. Whatever I wanted to do, I found ways to learn, whether it was business, strategy, marketing, digital marketing, AI, everything. If there is something new, I'm curious, I want to learn it. How it circled back to this place is the guy who taught me photography then, who watched my films there, is the landlord of this office that I'm sitting in today.
Okay.
That's how it circles back. When I moved to Baroda after Dubai, I said, I want an office space called Anish. We became very close friends, family friends after the photography stint. And we became family friends. And I said, I want to stay in Baroda and I want to do something. It's like, haan, le, mera office khali pada hai. Do something there. Chalo. How it all brought it back here. This is 25 years of story, and I'm back to where I met him and how we connected and how I got a space here.
Very interesting. So tell us, inspired you to focus on wellness retreats and holistic wellness?
It all started, a lot of transformation for all of us started during COVID. A lot of people were falling sick. So at that time, I went into thinking that disease hote kyun hai logo ko, how can we delay them? If not, you can't avoid them, but delay them. So मैंने एक mission start किया, #RockRocco mission. Let's get everything together by which we can prevent diseases. तो उसमें 3 pillars identify किए मैंने. Financial wellness was the top of it, physical wellness and mental wellness. If these 3 things are in place, we will be able to push the diseases a lot further and delay them. So financial wellness by creating opportunities where people can earn. So I started business consulting, growth consulting, where I help people to make more money. Financial wellness आ गई. Ayurveda products और natural products में मैंने e-commerce start किया ताकि वो खाना अच्छा खाए जो use कर रहे products वो अच्छे हो तो you will avoid toxicities around it. And mental wellness, so I started working with rehabs and mental health companies where I start contributing in that area. So this is how the 3 things started together that brought me to Bedo Wellness eventually. So the whole idea was to prevent diseases.
Very interesting. Thanks for explaining that. So the question I wanted to ask now is that you have traveled to more than 50 countries and आपने 2000 के आसपास retreats को visit किया है. So is there any memorable experience that you wish to share with our listeners?
Absolutely. I mean, बहुत सारे memorable experiences है. These 2000 are, not all of them are typical retreats, but they are resorts who have retreats in them, spas in them, and the property. And a lot of them in India who are particularly retreats. Having said that, we are also starting a retreat marketplace to bring all the retreats together. Experience. One profound experience was in Rishikesh where I went to Swami Rama Ashram. This was not a modernized retreat, but it had a program called 12 Steps of Himalayan Living, where during 12 days, they taught us how to inculcate the basic practices of Himalayan living, how people lived in the mountains. That was one of the most profound. Dr. Ganeshan was, the professor who, the guru who was basically teaching us there. It changed my life. It transformed my life. And from there, I'm trying to bring those experiences into whatever I do in daily life today.
Yeah, makes sense. But one of the things that I always was curious about is कि जो ये wellness retreats और resorts होते हैं, हमारी सोसाइटी में काइंड ऑफ कंसिडर्ड कि ये तो अमीर लोगों के चोचले हैं, राइट?
हाँ.
सो एंड मिडिल क्लास से यार कि हम तो एक जगह घूमने चले जाएं, दैट इज मोर देन एनफ फॉर अस, राइट? सो व्हाट विल यू से टू दोस पीपल?
पार्ट ऑफ इट इज रियलिटी. जस्ट दैट द नेम जो चोचले बोलते हैं वो बोल सकते हैं, बट primary thing that impacts the decision making of going to a wellness center is you need two things: money and time. And to buy time, you need money. Going to a wellness center, 2-3 दिन जाके कुछ फर्क नहीं होने वाला है आपको. आपको जाना है तो minimum 1 week and up to 1 month is a time frame required for a transformative experience. So पैसे आप एक हफ्ता रिजॉर्ट में रहने का 10,000 रुपया भी होगा तो आप 70,000 निकाल लोगे एक बार, बट वहां पर आपको कुछ करना नहीं, आपकी जो मर्जी है वो करना है. यहाँ पर आपको कमिटमेंट देना है कि दे विल टेल यू व्हाट टू डू, मसाजेस, थेरेपीज, योगा, मेडिटेशन, वेक अप एट 5 in the morning, sleep at 9:30 in the night. That is not what people are ready for. Plus you need time. आप 3-3 दिन के लॉन्ग हॉलीडेज 4 बार निकाल लोगे साल में, 5 बार निकाल लोगे, लेकिन एक साथ 15 दिन नहीं निकाल पाते. वो 15 दिन कौन निकाल पाता है? जो फाइनेंशियली स्टेबल है, जिनके पास टीम है, जिनके पास लोग है डेलीगेट करने के लिए. वरना आम आदमी, हमारे जैसे लोग को पास टाइम ही कहाँ होता है. हम तो हैंड टू माउथ, डे टू डे रन अराउंड करके भी रैट रेस में होते हैं. सो या इन अ वे अमीर लोगों के चोचले इसीलिए हैं क्योंकि अमीर लोगों के पास टाइम बाय करने की कैपेसिटी होती है, इन अ वे.
No, well said. I completely agree. But would you recommend that, right, to a middle class person? Because it's an expensive thing, right? 70,000 rupees is not a small feat, right? And this is for one person.
Right.
Somebody is like having a family of 4, in the middle ages. The cost will obviously increase, right? So is it worth the experience or the money they spend?
Sure, I'll tell you. First of all, I'll try to clarify the myth or the assumption around wellness being expensive. Luxury wellness is expensive. If you want to go to Manali, if I want to go to Manali, I choose homestays. What would you choose?
I have never done a wellness retreat, to be honest.
Not a wellness retreat. I'm saying about holiday. अगर मनाली छुट्टी के लिए जाना है, where would you stay? I would stay at a homestay.
Okay, I would just look for a 3-star hotel.
Exactly. The wellness also has categories of 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. You choose what suits your budget. But the activity is very, very important for everyone to prevent diseases, to stay well. In simple terms, you take your car to a garage periodically for service and oil change and brake pads. Why do you do that? You want the car to function properly. When do you take out time to fix your body and service your body? आम आदमी नहीं करता है. ज़्यादा वॉक कर लेंगे, शायद योगा होगा कोई कर लिया, जिम जाते हैं, तो जिम ऑल्सो इज गुड, डेफिनेटली वेरी गुड इफ यू आर वर्किंग आउट. But the toxins that you accumulate, even if you're not a smoker, you're not a drinker, even then, just by commuting from point A to point B, you are consuming a lot of toxins. Free radicals that are in the air, that are coming out of air cons, coming out of the exhausts of the cars and the bikes, the dust in the air, all that is toxic, that is getting accumulated in our body. We need to remove that. So wellness is about going to a place where you break the cycle of your normal life, take a different route, eat healthy food, and they give you practices by which these toxins get released from your body. So there are places in and around your city that you're living in. If it is Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, wherever you're living, there are clinics that you don't need to go and stay at. You can go for a day visit. You can pay 2,000 rupees a day and, you can take a 5-day Panchkarma therapy. Go every day for 2 hours, pay 2,000 a day, 5 days, 10,000 ka budget aapka. Everybody should undergo a Panchkarma therapy at least twice a year, ideally 4 times a year. Every change of season, you should perform a Panchkarma. But वो हम करते नहीं है. So it is for everybody. It is not necessarily it is only expensive. It's just about people not being aware. They're not taking any action towards it to find time, go there and experience it one time.
Absolutely. So tell us, you have traveled to more than 50 countries, right? So tell us some memorable experience from these travels.
What do I tell you? There are so many memorable experiences at so many different places. Going to the UK, Europe, being in Dubai, traveling other, big name countries. There are, of course, the experiences that you have. But something really different was in South Sudan, which felt like a retreat to me, like going back into the mountains. South Sudan was a place where there was very primitive in nature. It has been undergoing different types of wars for last 35 to 40 years. back to back wars चल रहे थे. And when I went there, that was after the referendum when South Sudan got separated from North Sudan. The country was just born out of nowhere, split it from another country. And if you leave 5 kilometers outside the capital city of Juba, the entire nation is primitive in the sense that people live in hand-built homes, built with wood and, stones. They wear leaves around their body. So us tarah ki wahan par, and so natural. One of the beautiful thing I saw there, they had mango plantation at one city called Yambio. This was planted by the British sometime, in the 70s or something. Mangoes are this big size and they are called mango Hindi. So उसके seeds, India से seeds लाए गए थे वहाँ पर. Now when you go on a road, it's a gravel track. There is no tarmac. The entire South Sudan has only about 20 to 30 kilometers of road in the city. And there's one road that connects Juba to Uganda, where the entire supply comes from. The rest of the city, there's nothing. There's no road. So 150 odd kilometers took us 12 hours to reach.
Yeah.
So nothing there. I mean, you go over the Land Cruiser and you're going through the rocks, rocky places. You're actually driving in the middle of nowhere. They say the land is so fertile, it was created by God from time memorial. Nothing done with that land. So fertile. आप मिर्ची ले जाओ, मिर्ची के seeds डाल दो, 4 दिन बाद झाड़ उग जाएगा अपने आप. So mangoes भी वहाँ पर nobody looks after those mangoes. उसके mango सड़ के गिर जाता है, पक के गिर जाता है नीचे, फिर नीचे पड़ा सड़ जाता है, उसी के seed से दूसरा tree. Ecosystem, the organic ecosystem.
Wow.
So that was an experience, yeah.
Going to US, Europe, like this, ये तो हमेशा हर की bucket list पे होता है. So how did you pick the non-traditional destinations? Like what inspired you to go to South Sudan, for instance?
I had a business there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was running a travel company, and so one of my client was from South Sudan, and he says, "Why don't you open something there?" So I went to see. I liked it. That यहाँ कुछ नहीं है तो बहुत कुछ किया जा सकता है. So I went and started an office, and yeah, that's how I landed there.
Okay. And how much of this travel was before you got married, and how much was it after you got married?
Unfortunately, very little before, maybe 10-15% before I got married. The majority of it was after marriage, but I still traveled solo and most of my trips.
Right. So any colorful, interesting experiences there that you can share on the public?
A lot of them. Every trip was an experience. I always enjoy talking to people. So after work hours, you sit at a bar and you get talking to people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get talking to a lot of people and a lot of experiences. But that's where I would like to limit talking on the public space.
घर वापस जाना है, घर
रिकॉर्डिंग करने के बाद फोन करना आप वापस, तो हम बात करेंगे उसके ऊपर.
Absolutely. I'll definitely take some tips from you because I'm still unmarried. So your learnings might be useful for me.
At 47, I got both of my ears pierced just last week.
Nice. You spoke about talking to people, and one thing really surprises me कि as an Indian society, हम एक दूसरे से इतना घुलते मिलते क्यों नहीं है, right? There's some kind of tension, right? You rarely find people कि हाँ यार कहीं मिले और बातचीत होने लग गई, and but if you compare this culture with foreigners, they are a lot more welcoming and they are a lot more willing to talk to strangers and share thoughts. आपको क्या लगता है? Is it true? और अगर ऐसा है तो क्यों?
It's embedded in our culture. Foreigners थोड़े open होते हैं. Again, it's not necessary that everywhere in all countries that you go to, everybody is friendly. बहुत weird behaviors भी होता है, especially with brown skin. हमारी skin के साथ तो they receive you very, very differently at many countries. Thanks to Modi ji, after Modi ji, things have changed a lot. We don't want to make this political, but the exposure has changed. People look at Indians differently now, and that I've experienced personally. So yeah, it's not necessarily that foreigners are certain types and Indians are certain other types. In India as well, if you go to certain parts of India, like if you are in BKC in Mumbai, or if you are in Bangalore, the IT culture, the startup culture areas of Bangalore, people are different. You can go and openly talk to anybody. So it's just a part of how we have evolved so far. India is still lagging behind the world in terms of communications, in terms of being open-minded, the open culture. It's still evolving. And it's embedded in our culture largely because of हमारा अंग्रेज राज, जहाँ पर हमें बोलने का मौका नहीं मिलता था, तो हमारे दिमाग से आज तक वो बात गई नहीं है. हम स्टिल मौका ढूंढते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि सामने वाला रिस्पेक्ट कर रहा है, पहला वो स्टेप लेगा तो हम करेंगे. तो ये हमेशा रहता है. सो व्हाट आई डू इज जनरली whenever I'm like I was going from Baroda to Mumbai by train, and I got talking to the girl sitting next to me. She was 27, 28 or maybe 30 something. She's pursuing her masters in pediatrics, and we connected well. So हमारे कल्चर में क्या होगा, पास में लड़की बैठी होगी तो यू बी गुड पर्सन, लड़कियों से बात नहीं करनी उनसे. ये दिमाग में जब आपका इंटेंशन क्लीन होगा तो नेचुरली यू विल बी कॉन्फिडेंट. अगर इंटेंशन आपका खराब नहीं है तो कोई भी आपके साथ अच्छी तरह से बात कर लेते हैं. तो हमारे इंटेंशन अच्छे होते हैं लेकिन कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं होता.
Yeah, and see, this is what I wanted to kind of highlight. If you travel to other countries, and you rightly pointed about the culture which is embedded, one of the things that you also mentioned is confidence. And that definitely has a lot of impact on how much professional growth you will have and how much, networking you will be able to do. So, मैंने देखा है कि especially in the US, if you look at the people, जो बच्चे 10 साल, 12 साल के भी हैं, so they have the confidence to approach a stranger and talk to them, right? पर हमारे यहाँ पे हमें बचपन से ही सिखाया जाता है कि अच्छे बच्चे बात नहीं करते. So I ये सीधा सुशील वाला जो, and do you think कि it is hurting Indians a lot?
Definitely, it is hurting a lot, and there needs to be something done about it. Also, I feel that Gen Z में एक नया culture आ गया है आजकल to name your personalities, जो पहले नहीं होता था इतना. आजकल हर personality का नाम है, which is good that you are able to identify who you are. Where the problem is that once they identify that I'm extrovert, I'm introvert, they stick to that personality and think that this is it. वैसा नहीं है. Once you identify that I'm an introvert, it is time to become aware that you're introvert, why you're introvert, what are you feeling, what are the changes that you need to do. Take a course, go and learn from somebody to be comfortable under your skin. Be introvert. Nobody's asking you to take up national stage, go on a podium somewhere and speak to millions of people. But at least be comfortable in group of your 10 people that you are around you. So, talking about this poster you see behind, it's called Lego mindset. Okay? Lego bricks, जिससे हम खेलते थे और घर बनाते थे. So, we are all made up of our experiences and exposure. Now, we put our experiences and exposures together and we call this as Atul. That this is me. मैं ऐसे ही बना हूँ, भगवान ने मुझे ऐसे बनाया, मेरे माँ बाप ने मुझे ऐसे बनाया, this is my genetics, मेरे genes में ही ऐसा था, ये मेरी personality है. If you go by the science, there is only so much percentage, minority percentage between 2 to 5% is what comes to you, from birth. 95% of what you are is because of your experiences and exposure. Just to give you context to it, if you were born and adopted by a family in the US and you lived the rest of the life in the US, would you be the same person you are today? You would not be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Avinash would be a different personality altogether.
Right.
Yeah. So same way, if that is true, then you could be different even today. So if you are an introvert, if you are an extrovert, just think that this is a Lego house that I've made. One thing that one needs to realize to change, just one thing, that you are not made up of cemented walls. You are made up of Lego bricks. You can dismantle, rebuild. It is possible.
Well said. Great advice there. And you brought in the concept of learning, right? Understanding where you are and adding to your knowledge base. So this is also I wanted to kind of highlight to our listeners. So how was this transition, right? You have shared your initial background. Now the kind of role that you're providing, it requires you to be specialists in certain areas. So how did you acquire those skills, knowledge, and able to create a successful business?
The day I know how to exactly put it into words, I will leave all the other work and start a course and start teaching
and start charging people as well.
Exactly.
नहीं यहाँ पे free में ही बताना पड़ेगा. Go until you share it for free.
Well, it's like I said, bits and pieces of learning, putting it together. There was one person in my life who taught me how to learn in a very candid way, not in a formal class or Guru Gyan, बैठ के समझाना. I used to just spend time with him. He is supposed to be my uncle. His name is Bharat. I always mention it to him. that he says, I don't know when I taught you something. He doesn't agree that he has taught me anything. But while I spent couple of years, we used to hang out all the time together. He used to always tell me that be curious, ask questions and learn. If you don't ask questions, your learning is going to be limited. So that is what has brought me where I am today. During COVID, when I started thinking that लोग इतने बीमार क्यों होते हैं, लोग इतने आराम से बीमार क्यों होते हैं, अगर कोई परपेचुअली क्यों बीमार होता है, एक चीज बार बार हर 3 महीने में, हर 2 महीने में सर्दी जुकाम क्यों हो रहा है लोगों को. Then during COVID, everybody had a lot of time, so I deep dived into it and learned what are the basic elements of maintaining a good life, staying well, and क्यों हम बीमार होते हैं. तो जब question आता है, then I give some time. Over a period of so many years, I've learned to learn very quickly. So learning में time नहीं लगता. I don't have to read fat books. I can read a 20-minute article, a blog, and that will change the whole perspective, and I'll get into the bits and pieces, the nitty-gritties of the subject matter. So that way, जो भी subject आया, उसका literature ढूंढा from the best sources, authenticated sources, सीखा उसको, दूसरे किसी एक्सपर्ट को मिलता हूँ, फिर उनसे वैलिडेट करता हूँ कि इज दिस करेक्ट व्हाट आई थिंक, वी वैलिडेट इट एंड देन आई एम रेडी टू गो. एंड हर चीज़ का प्रोसेस बनाता हूँ मैं. हाउ डज दिस वर्क, उसके स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेसेस क्या है. अगर घर पे हमें पाव भाजी बनानी है तो मेरी बीवी से पूछा एक बार कि यार घर पे पाव भाजी बनाती हो तो कैसे बनाती हो, क्या करती हो. डिसाइड करती हूँ पहले कि कितने लोग आने वाले हैं, कितनी क्वांटिटी लगेगी, कितने आलू लगेंगे, कितनी सब्जी लगेगी, कितने पाव लगेंगे. That itself is process. You calculate, you prepare everything, then you start cooking and then you start serving. तो end to end अगर आप imagine कर सकते हो तो from start to end कैसा होगा, उसको break down करो, then that's your MBA.
Absolutely. You have put it in a very nice way. So one of the things I also wanted to ask is that you have worked on various global projects. And when you're working globally, there's this concept of cultural nuances that you need to be aware of. So how you behave in Japan is very different from how you behave in the US. So how do you keep those cultural nuances in mind while working on global projects?
I take it very lightly. I try to follow my basic principles of respecting others, being nice to them. It's very difficult to keep learning, every different culture. Few things that I learn is how to greet them. Greeting is very, very different in different countries. When you go to Georgia, if you meet a buddy like you, Avinash, you hug them, kiss them on both the cheeks 3 times, and you say Gamar Joba. Okay, so that's their greeting. And they say Jigaro. Yeah. Jigaro is like, yo, bro, that's Jigaro for them. The Gamar Joba Jigaro. So once you greet them with that greeting, they'll stop bothering about how you are in other ways, because you've already broken the barrier, you become friend to them. So I try to pick up those 1-2 greetings. In South Sudan, when you meet somebody, my right hand goes on the left shoulder of the other guy who I'm meeting. So if I'm meeting you, my hand will go on your left shoulder, your hand will go into my left shoulder. Just one shoulder. You put your hand on the shoulder and you say salam. It's an Arabic speaking country, so you say salam. That is the greeting. They don't hug, they don't do anything. Just one hand on the shoulder, respect. In Dubai, again, things are different. If you are very close to them, they touch noses and they kiss. Just make the sound of the kiss. And otherwise, it's handshakes only. So you pick up basic before going to the country and learn to greet them. That suffices, I think.
Well said. We get this question a lot. If I have like 25 lakh rupees, how do I start my own business, right? So I'll put in like, if somebody has like 25 to 30 lakh rupees, और वो अपना एक wellness retreat खोलना चाहते हैं, तो what should be the steps be following? So obviously get a place, get an interior design and सारा equipments ले लिया, depending upon what you want to do, right? Then what would be the rest of the steps?
ये सब करोगे तब तक 25 लाख खत्म हो जाएंगे. ये सब नहीं करना है.
Okay, so tell us what's the step.
पहले तो retreat क्यों खोलना है? I would go into that who are you and why do you want to open a retreat? If you're talking about, is this question in context with anybody starting some business, or are you particularly asking about retreats?
No. So there are a lot of people who have like 25 to 30 lakhs and वो चाहते हैं कि अब मेरा खुद का कुछ business करूँगा.
Right.
Okay. Right. And I just wanted to ask you कि अगर किसी को wellness retreat में जाना है and this is their budget, so what steps should they be following?
अच्छा, अगर वी कैन टॉक अबाउट कि रिट्रीट में जाना है तो रिट्रीट में भी दो एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं. एक आप वेलनेस रिजॉर्ट या वेलनेस सेंटर बनाओ, जैसा ये मेरा स्पेस है. यू टेक अप a space of about 1,000 square feet and hire masseurs, hire therapists. You need a naturopathy doctor. You need to choose first of all what kind of wellness you want to provide, whether it's based on Ayurveda principles, naturopathic principles, homeopathic principles. There is wellness in Unani, there is wellness in all these areas. So what do you want to mix them all? तो वो पहले डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा. बिफोर ऑल दैट आई वुड आस्क द पर्सन, अगर खाली बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने की बात है,
Right.
first they need to decide what they really want to do, and you can either base your business on your top skills, कि आपके टॉप स्किल्स क्या है, या तो उस पर बिजनेस बेस करो. अगर आप सोचते हो कि मेरे पास ऐसे कोई स्किल्स नहीं है जो मैं बेच सकता हूँ, then the second best option to go for is that what is your immediate network of 100 people look like? What are those people and will you be able to sell to them? Are they able to trust you? Are you able to give them advices on anything? तो आपका जो immediate network है उनको आप जो आप बेच सकते हैं उससे आप start कर सकते हो. Getting first 100,000 customers, I mean 100 or 1,000 customers is the toughest job. Then you find your way. So if you come to retreats, then retreat mein one thing is retreats are like events. So you plan retreats like a mindfulness retreat or a yoga retreat for 3 days or 5 days. Don't spend your 25 lakhs. Spend only 10 lakhs out of that in customer acquisition, in getting awareness. So आप किसी भी resort में जाओ, किसी भी open space जहाँ पर आपको space मिल जाए, where people can come and stay there and you have open space to conduct your yoga sessions or meditation or mindfulness, whatever you want to deliver, whatever you are good at. तो उस स्पेस में आप 10 लोगों को ढूंढो जो आपके रिट्रीट के लिए आपको पैसे देंगे. 3 दिन वहाँ रहने का, खाना पीना एंड द नॉलेज जो आप उनको दोगे उसके लिए आपको पे करे. Once those 10 people pay you, then you progress and do a second retreat, third retreat, fourth retreat, until you have consistent flow of customers, or at least you know that out of 12 months I have customers for at least 6 retreats in 12 months. Then you can go and take up a space or not take a space. Build processes around it and keep building more retreats and more locations at simultaneously. ये भी हो सकता है business.
Very interesting and quite a smart advice about when you are thinking about starting a new business, skills or your network. That's really a great way to look at what opportunities do you have. That's really interesting. A lot of youngsters these days say यार ये जो धंधा होता है ना, ये नहीं करना है हमें तो स्टार्टअप करना है, हम $1 billion ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बनाएंगे. सो आपका क्या सोचना है इस टॉपिक पे?
कोई $1 billion ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऐसे ही नहीं बनती. पहले धंधा बनना जरूरी है, तभी जाके वो $1 billion ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनेगी.
Simple words. Zepto का लोग एग्जांपल देते हैं, राइट? Zepto में दे आर लाइक 2 young guys, 18 या 19 साल के, 21 साल के थे दोनों, एंड देन they started, they had this idea. They were luckily in Stanford, so they were able to raise funds, and now I'm sure it is losing a lot of money, but they were able to create something. So a lot of youngsters come to me and say like हम उनके रास्ते पे क्यों ना जाएं, and why should we more think कि sustainable business create करने के रास्ते पे क्यों जाएं?
Interesting. I know a lot of people may be having this question, and there is nothing wrong. I think culturally it's just cool to have a startup instead of having a sustainable business. Both can be sustainable. I was consulting a company called I Think Logistics. Very young team, 5 founders, very young people. They started very small. It was a third-party logistic aggregation, similar to your ShipRocket. So e-commerce, anybody is trying to sell anything online, plug in ITL, all your orders seamlessly get shipped to your customers, returns happen, pickup from the seller happens, everything happens seamlessly. They started and no fundraising, nothing required. And yesterday I saw their post, they've crossed 100 crores now. And it started very small. They didn't have a vision that 100 crore revenue means valuation is going to be a lot higher. They never thought that, this is with the valuation we want to reach. They just thought we want to do this. We want to solve this problem. So yeah, advice to anybody who wants to go the startup way, find a problem. Like everybody says, all the mentors, all the people in the world say the same thing, find a problem, solve it. But वो problem को इतना simplify करना पड़ता है कि वो scale हो सके. The process around it should be so simple. Like today, using Zomato is a child's play, right? It's so simplified that I know if I want to order food, I can go and place an order and the food will come to me. the value proposition is very, very clear. So you need to find a problem. I have tried myself, building startups, and I thought of something very, very innovative. जनता समझी नहीं वो, क्योंकि वो need नहीं थी. And I keep circling around. जब तक जनता समझती नहीं है, you are not going to get your even first 100 customers.
Absolutely. And a lot of people forget about ShipRocket. So I recently met one of the co-founders. So, what he was saying, कि यार पहले 6-7 साल, they didn't start with ShipRocket. Like they had a very different product in mind. And they, even though they had raised funds, but first 5 to 6 years, उसने कहा कि मेरे एक ऑफिस के कोने में ना एक डिपार्टमेंट था जिसका काम था कि कोई भी सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट का प्रोजेक्ट उठा लो, कुछ भी सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट का कुछ भी उठा लो, एंड दैट छोटा सा डिपार्टमेंट एक्चुअली केप्ट अस अफ्लोट फॉर द फर्स्ट 5-6 years. वी आर फिगरिंग आउट कि हमारा कौन सा प्रोडक्ट रियली स्केल हो पाएगा. सो लोग ShipRocket को देखते हैं, बट दे काइंड ऑफ फॉरगेट कि वो भी 6 साल सॉफ्टवेयर कंसल्टेंसी कर करके पैसा कर करके अपना बिजनेस चला रहे थे.
See, exact same story of I Think Logistics. I Think Logistics was a tech company. We were building websites and softwares for other companies. यही काम था उनका. While they were doing that, 3 founders were doing the tech company. 2 friends of theirs who were studying together, they came to, Vipul, who's the founder, and Zeba and Bharat, that we have this idea. Paresh and Nicola, the other 2 founders, says we've been working with Amazon, और उनके warehouse देखते हैं और ये सब होता है, और ShipRocket ऐसा कर रहा है या कोई दूसरी कंपनी का देखा कि ऐसा कर रहा है, तो क्या आप ये सॉफ्टवेयर बना सकते हो, तो इसमें काम हो सकता है. अच्छा, today they are doing 100 crores. That's how it started. Tech company built a software for them. Paresh and Nikul were running this. The other 3 guys also joined. All of them now together. Software company side में हो गई. ITL बहुत बड़ा हो गया.
Well said. That brings me to the next interesting question I wanted to ask कि जैसे most of the startups कि में ये एक myth है कि यार जितनी भी लड़ाई झगड़ा है, it is for your first 100 customer. No doubt it is the hardest part. But उसके बाद भी it's not like कि smooth sailing होगा, right? पहले आपके 100 customers आ गए, फिर then 150 पे हो सकता है प्लेटो आ जाए, नहीं होगा तो 500 पे प्लेटो आएगा. You will definitely have that, right? So one of the questions a lot of startups that I speak to struggle with कि यार किस पॉइंट पे हमें ना एक एक्सटर्नल ग्रोथ से कंसल्ट करना स्टार्ट कर देना चाहिए. There is a point then they should hire like someone full time for that job. But उससे भी पहले एक ऐसा स्टेप आता है जहाँ पे they should start consulting somebody like you कि यार आगे अभी उसको कैसे ग्रोथ करें. उन स्टार्टअप्स को किस पॉइंट पे ग्रोथ कंसल्टेंट्स लाइक यू के टच में आ जाना चाहिए.
There could be couple of such milestones where they can start reaching out. एक तो initial stage पे when they are at idea stage, lot of founders get so emotionally attached to their idea and they protect it like a baby कि मैं किसी को नहीं बताऊंगा, NDA साइन करो, ये करो, वो करो. कुछ नहीं होता. आइडियाज भरे पड़े हैं मार्केट में. आइडियाज एग्जीक्यूशन सब ये भी सब बताते हैं कि एग्जीक्यूशन करो तभी उसका. वो क्यों बताते हैं? बिकॉज एग्जीक्यूशन इज अ वेरी वेरी टफ रोड. To get an idea into the execution stage, get those red or 1,000 customers, it's a very, very tough journey. For some, it becomes very easy. So at this time, if you have 25 lakhs to start up, invest 2 lakhs in talking to an expert who will guide you कि ये 2-3 रास्ते में से आपको कौन सा लेना चाहिए. And also I've seen that a lot of founders start building a very big project. उनको लगता है कि इतना तो है, हम यही करेंगे. But essentially when you look at the kitchen, कि ये आप सिर्फ पाव भाजी नहीं बना रहे हो, आप पाव भाजी में 4 वैरायटी कर रहे हो, कि एक ब्लैक पाव भाजी, एक ये वाली, एक ये वाली, एक वाली 4 कर रहे हो. चारों के प्रोसेसेस अलग अलग होंगे, चारों के लिए इंग्रेडिएंट्स अलग चाहिए, चारों के लिए टीम्स अलग चाहिए, सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट्स अलग चाहिए. सो दे डोंट गेट इनटू दोज स्टेप्स. So instead of betting all your money, 25 lakhs into building that startup, put aside 2 lakhs, invest in talking to a mentor, talking to an expert, whoever it could be. You will save the other money. Like first thing I told you कि मेरे पास 25 like you were asking me कि 25 लाख है तो मुझे क्या करना चाहिए. पहले तो रिट्रीट और जगह नहीं लेनी है, वो सब स्टार्ट ही नहीं करना है. पॉसिबिलिटी है कि whoever thought of building a retreat or building something into wellness will say मेरे पास 25 लाख है, मैं 20 लाख का फैसिलिटी बनाऊंगा, 5 लाख मैं हाथ में रखूंगा, 6 महीना चलाऊंगा, 6 महीने में बिजनेस स्टार्ट हो गया, आई विल बी स्मूथ सेलिंग. नहीं होता ऐसा. इसमें प्रॉब्लम आती है. तो दैट इज व्हाई इंस्टेड ऑफ पुटिंग योर 20 lakhs and then regretting, put aside 2 lakhs, talk to somebody good. Don't just find anybody who will give you an advice for 20,000-30,000 rupees. वो काम नहीं आएगी आपकी शायद की advice. Somebody who's been there, done that. Yes, so that is one time. Second is when you hit a plateau, when you hit a saturation point, आपको लगता है कि इससे आगे नहीं जा सकते. So couple of companies that I worked with, they told me that we have saturated, हम इससे आगे नहीं जा सकते. I asked them first question in the meeting, who do you think is your competitor? So what are you doing currently? They said we are doing out of 0 to 100, we are doing, or 0 to 1000, we are doing 30. What is the competitor doing? Competitor is doing 200. And how do you call yourself saturated? You are at 30, competitor is 200, and the market size is 200.
Right.
There's, huge space for you to grow. Get to your competitor first. To your competitor 200 pe, so you have a potential to at least grab 50% of their market share. तब आप competitor बोल सकते हो. If you are sitting at 30 and he's at 200, you are not a competitor. You are only aspiring. You are envying them. You are not competing. That one question changed their whole attitude.
Right.
And they were thinking of diversifying. After reaching a point, they were diversifying and opening some other businesses on the side, other verticals. I just told them all that is nonsense. You are at 30, you have to reach 100 first, then think about something else. वो verticals में जहाँ पर वो सोच रहे थे कि करना चाहिए, वो बंद करवाया और सारे resources एक ही project में लगे. They were sitting at a team of about 35-40 people that time. And after they put the entire focus on this project, today they are sitting at probably 220 people's team. And they think we've just started.
Well said. So, चलिए rapid fire round का time है. Are you ready, sir?
Anji. Yes.
Favorite wellness retreat you have visited?
I have not visited. I definitely want to visit very soon. It's called Pema Wellness, which is in Visakhapatnam. I would love to go and see that place. It looks gorgeous from the videos. And Atmantan is my favorite where I have been. I have not taken their services, but I've just visited the place. It's the place I would want any of my wellness centers to become.
Right.
Atmantan in Pune.
Okay. Atmantan.
Atmantan.
Okay.
Yeah, Atmantan.
Okay, that's interesting. So, next question is one book that had a significant impact on your life.
I'm not a big reader, but Gita is what has brought a profound transformation in my life. And a couple of other books I've read. Out of that, Book of Mirdad.
Okay.
It's a spiritual angle to it, some spiritual and psychology mixed. Book of Mirdad and Gita. These are my favorite places to go to anytime.
Very interesting. A country you would love to travel to again?
Georgia.
Okay. Best piece of advice you have ever received?
Keep your intentions clean, and that itself will make you confident.
Right.
Do you want me to explain that?
Please.
Just whenever you're meeting anybody, if you know that your intent is clean, you're not there to, harm them, do anything. If you focus on that instead of your appearance, instead of your language, your accent, don't worry about if you have a, not a proper English accent or Hindi accent.
Right.
Speak in any accent, look anything that you want to look to, doesn't matter. If focus on the intent, I know my intent is clean. I'm not here to harm anybody. That should make you super confident. Just only there to do good. That advice.
Great advice. So my last rapid fire question is, what's the next big thing on your bucket list?
Retirement.
Good answer. So Atul sir, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. It was really inspiring, enlightening, and entertaining all at the same time.
I enjoyed it as well, Avinash. I would love to see this go live very soon, and probably, give my number flashing there. Tell them that I got a couple of year piercings done. I ride a bike. I travel often. Let's see if I get some more hits at 47.
Absolutely. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining.
Pleasure, Avinash. Thank you for the time. I really enjoyed this.
And just like that, we have wrapped up another amazing episode of Yes Users podcast with the incredible Atul Vaya. Did you catch all those nuggets of wisdom? If you're dreaming of your next big venture or just want to kick your wellness game up a notch, Atul is your go-to guy. Connect with him on LinkedIn. And who knows, maybe your next big idea is just a conversation away. Thanks to our listeners for joining us on Yes Users podcast. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep pushing those boundaries. And remember, folks, life is a journey, so let's make a thrilling one. Until next time, this is your host Avinash Tripathi signing off.